It's beginning to look a lot like lockdowns everywhere you go. Shalom, it's Vaughn Yeshua. Welcome again to the Rock. What am I doing? I'm getting cuttings. These are fig cuttings, so that I can propagate some more. The ones that I've already done are doing excellent. Budding, well, some are budding already, and some are already setting roots. For those in the Patreon channel, I will be showing you how I do it. But doesn't it? Oh, also want to say we're gonna have a live stream today at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. Me and my beloved brethren are going to be talking about a concerning problem, the thing that needs to be talked about in this faith, as far as single mothers. And no, this is not a bash session. We're not going to be bashing on nobody. That's not what we're doing here. We're just going to have a, hopefully, respectful and mature conversation. And we're going to bring in the Bible. We're going to remove what the world says, and we're going to bring in what the Bible says and our culture. But anyways, isn't it amazing that now there is a new variant, I call it the Omegatron variant, and states right now are talking about lockdowns again. The state of New York, I don't know if you heard all the proposals they're pushing as far as vaccination mandates and all that other stuff. And here's the thing. Lockdowns affect everybody, whether you're vaxxed or not. Because they're saying that this variant is vaccine resistant. They're going to have to make more and more and more different vaccines. It's interesting. So what does that mean for you? Well, one of the questions that I asked in 2020 is, are you coming out? Because if you did it in 2020, these things that you see right now would not affect you nearly as much as they're affecting everybody else. Not nearly as much. So now we're looking at what? Even worse supply shortages. They're already having a situation, you heard me talk about before, with the potash and fertilizers. So that's going to affect farming. If they shut things down and we come back in the year 2022 and there's mandates, well, how many people are not going to be working? How many people are not going to be working in the fields to, either plant or produce food? So what does that mean for you? We saw what happened with toilet paper. What's going to happen if they actually do start being more heavy-handed? And just think about that. I just want you to think about the possibilities. So when I talk about things on this channel, I'm sorry, the live stream is going to be on the Disturbers of Israel channel. So when I talk about on this channel, when I talk about preparedness, food, and one of the biggest preparedness things that you as sisters could be is covered. That's your number one preparation. Your number one way of coming out of her is getting covered. That's your number one way, getting covered. That's the part that's most shunned. That part is hated. Because now, as times get worse and as lockdowns get worse, and we're already in a financial situation, a lot of people aren't working. A lot of people are choosing to not work. And financially, things are just going to continue to go down faster and faster. And things are going to get more and more expensive. And there's going to be less and less of it. So if you're not producing it yourself, if you're not able to produce it yourself, you're in trouble. I was talking to the sisters, and I was saying, this whole flim-flam of a fertilizer problem is just stupid. And it's stupid because, they're pushing a lot of these soylent foods and green foods and green, you don't need meat. Well, we don't want, let's stop the farmers of growing their cows and their chickens. Let's stop all that. Well, see, as you do that, those are the animals that produce a lot of the fertilizers. A lot of the things, a lot of the more organic, natural fertilizers. You know, you don't need to go to a fertilizer company. You don't need big oil if you're able to produce your own meat. Because in producing your own meat, you can take that manure and make your own organic compost that you can feed your plants and feed your crops, and you can eat. So all you have to do is feed your animals, and by feeding your animals, you're able to grow more luscious, beautiful greens. But now, let's get rid of the animals. Let's go, everybody, vegetarian. Let's push this agenda that you should not eat clean, biblically clean meats. Let's push that. Because as you start eliminating cows, you start eliminating chickens, you start eliminating a lot of the natural organic composts that you can create and produce, that you can then feed your plants. You see, this whole game, it's a freaking game. And so many are going to be hurt by it because so many don't want to make any moves. So many think that, well, I'll just, it's going to find a way. It's going to work itself out. A lot of people are finding out, no, it's not working itself out. It's getting worse. And you're sitting by and standing by and waiting for something to happen that's going to adjust your life and make it better. When if you looked around and you opened up your eyes, you would see that everything's getting worse. They're clamping down harder and harder and harder and harder. And so many are still standing around like, it's going to get better, right? I said a prayer. It's going to get better. If we just hope. If we just think, if we just know. You see, there are some that are making some real moves. There are some sisters that are making some real moves. There are brothers, few, that are making some real moves and putting themselves in a position, have put themselves in a position by the moves they made last year and the moves they're making this year, so that when the shit go down, they aren't nearly as affected. Everybody's going to be affected, but not everybody's going to be affected the same way. And not everybody's going to have to, the answer's not going to be the same for everybody. Because for me, okay, shit, the answer for me is just grow more food. Cool. But for some other people, the answer is going to be what? Well, I can't get food because the grocery store is mandating. So I now have to get this thing that I swore that I wasn't going to get, which is the jab. I swore I was never going to get it. With God as my witness, I ain't doing it. Because you never imagined it would get to these levels. But it looks like that's where it's going. And see, the prudent man has foreseen this and prepared himself. The foolish one passed all this and is now faced with that question of, well, in order to feed my family, do I get the vaccine? In order to keep my job so I can feed my family, do I get the vax? And whether you do or you don't is none of my business. Hey, if you get it, more power to you. If you don't get it, more power to you. But I know it's for me and my house. That ain't for us. I don't need nobody altering my DNA. I don't need their vaccinations. I'm good. But what about you? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these cuttings and I'm going to go and I'm going to propagate them. When they start bearing leaves in spring, I'm going to transfer them to a cup or, a larger container, each one. And I've got probably 50 fig trees and 35 elderberries and at least 75 goji berry cuttings that are all doing well. And I'm going to go out and I'm going to clear out an area and I'm going to plant some more food. I'm going to plant some more goji berries, elderberries, some more fig trees. And I'm going to start doing that with my other trees too, my pears and my apples. My peaches, I'm going to start doing with them too, my nectarines. So that I can make sure that my family's going to eat. And not just eat, but get all the vitamins and the minerals and the nutrients that they need. Because I'm going to keep producing my own compost that I can keep feeding to my trees. And I can keep, do y'all know that this fertilizer shortage situation is so bad that they are now looking in cities and asking, can we take all the human manure that the cities are processing and maybe we need to use that in our foods? Maybe you need to eat somebody else's crap, literally. I mean, I'm not against, using natural means. I'm not against composting your own waste. But do you want other people's waste composted and you're eating it? Is that what you really want? You could have came out though. But instead, hey, you may be forced to eat literal shit from some other person, and you're intaking whatever diet that they took, whatever pharmaceuticals that they have inside of their systems, may just be passed to you. But hey, we don't want to come out. It's too hard. I can't. I've got all these things going on. Consider and count the cost of the decisions that you are making. Hope to see you tonight, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, on the Disturbers of Israel channel. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, and no, I don't celebrate Christmas. It's beginning to look a lot like lockdowns everywhere you go.